Welcome back, guys. I'm back again, and today I'll be telling you the part 2 of episode 1. And so let's continue where we left off. As Kain walks out of the tent, he's walking through the slums, and then it's like monologue where he thinks to himself that legend says that 500 years ago, every single being got access to elemental energy. Humans start absorbing elemental energy since the day they are born. And when they reach 17, they manifest one of the 18 elements. Awakening is not just a part of life. It's something that can alter the fate of a person. If you awaken strong, the fate itself will be changed. And those who do not awaken strong, they are discarded, just like the people of the slums. And he is thinking all of this to himself. And as he is walking by, through the alleys of the slums, he continues, I will not be discarded. I will continue to rise. I will rise up. I will get out of here. And I'll take her with me. And as he is spacing out while thinking and walking, we see 4 figures in the distance. One is a tall, lean boy named Jill, wearing a half-burned red scarf. Then there's a little short guy with a very noticeable silver bracelet in his hand. Then there's a girl named Mary with a belt with multiple overstuffed pockets. And finally, there's another one named Garn, who is broad-shouldered, big, and wearing a hat which is half sewn. And as Kaien is walking by, Jill pats him in the back. And Kaien is slightly irritated and says, "You gotta stop doing this in the fucking morning, man." And Jill replies with a smirk, "Was just checking whether you are dead or alive." Kaien says, "Won't die before my awakening day, you know." And Jill says, "So, tomorrow is it now?" Kaien says, "Yes." Then Toll adds in, "I just hope you awaken a strong element." And Kaien replies that, "Well, my mother always says that no element is inherently weak or strong. It just depends on the wielder." Then Garn heads in, "True, your mother has always been pretty correct about these things." And then Mary heads up, saying that, "Yeah, what you're saying may be correct, but I still cannot stand the smell of oil from old man Greg." Then Kaien, in a playful tone, says, "Oh, don't worry. If I were to awaken oil, you are the first person I am coming after." And he runs after her. And Mary is screaming and shrieking a little, "Stop it, you prick!" And for a slight moment, in that whole depressed environment, they all feel genuine smiles, genuine laughter for a few minutes. And as they are walking by, we arrive at the city gates. All of them are just standing outside the city gates. And the rest of them, the 4 of them, walks inside the city gates while Kaien takes a right turn from outside. This is the city gates, he turned outside, right side here. And Jill asked him, "Going to collect coal again?" And Kaien replies, "Yeah, I'll be back in the afternoon." And Jill says, "Take care." And then Kaien is walking again through snow cluttering in his feet, all alone. And thinking to himself again. They say coal used to be one of the most efficient sources of energy before elemental energy came along. But now, the moment you try to use it, it just turns into hot ash in seconds. And it's utterly considered useless. Even the slum folk avoid it because the hot ash can cluster on the lungs and the skin, and it is like a slow poison. But for me, that little hot ash is the only accessible thing to keep her warm, even with the risks. While thinking that, we arrive at the mine, and right outside the mine, we see a board, half rusted, half frozen, half covered with ice. And what we can read is abandoned, no end. And Kaien just walks by it, and the terrain of the mine is like there are stairs, steel stairs, leading to a steel platform, and right at the edge of that steel platform, there's the entrance of the mine. Kaien climbs the stairs, arrives at the platform, and he sees a few coal pieces just lurking around. And he thinks to himself, with a little faint smile, today must be my lucky day. And as he is trying to pick them up and trying to put them in his satchel, there is an abnormal gust of wind that strikes and shaking the whole platform. And for a moment, Kaien is confused. And before he could even think anything, another gust comes, slams him towards the back of the wall. And then, in a distance, after collecting himself a bit, in a distance he sees two figures fighting. One wielding a sword, the other one floating mid-air. And as Kaien sees the floating figure, he thinks to himself, floating? But that is only something a 6th layer air elementalist can do. How? And before he could process anything, another third gust of wind comes, this time from the side, and smacks him towards the entrance of the mine. And there's a rusty nail sticking, and his forehead is smacked in that nail, and the nail pierces his forehead from inside. And as he is blacking out, his grip loses on the satchel. And the only thought that comes in his mind was, no, mom will be cold. And then he blacks out. This was the episode 1, Awakening. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.